Brad Holmes does it again. We have some breaking news coming out of the city of Detroit, and they said they were going to do it at some point. Didn't know it was going to be. I didn't expect it to be for at least a couple more weeks, if not just during the offseason once the season is over. But we have some breaking news. According to Adam Schefter, the Detroit Lions, new deal in Detroit. Lions are signing defensive tackle Alim McNeil to a 4-year contract extension, and they just posted this a couple minutes later. Terms for Alim McNeil's extension, it's 4 years, $97 million, including $55 million guaranteed. Shout out to Brad Holmes, man. Now, the only thing about this is hopefully this doesn't impact a trade for whoever it may be, Hendrickson, if they somehow pulled off Crosby, Reddick, Dietrich Royce. Hopefully that doesn't affect this, and I don't think it will, because Brad Holmes is an absolute mastermind. He is now extended in not even 1 year. Penei Sewell to the record-setting deal. Jared Goff to a record-setting deal. St. Brown to a record-setting deal. Extended McNeil long-term. Extended Taylor Decker long-term. And extended David Montgomery long-term. I don't understand how Brad Holmes is doing this. I mean, it's truly unbelievable. Shout out to Brad Holmes. Now with this, again, hopefully it does not affect a trade potentially. Now with this, he's phenomenal. I mean, he really is. With this deal, we only have one big free agent now for next year in terms of a player that will cost a lot of money, and that is Carlton Davis. Everybody else is not going to be too expensive. And right now, our top 5 headliners right now is a Fatu Melifonwu, who's not going to cost a lot. He's probably, in my eyes, going to be out for the year because there's not been any good updates on him this year. So Fatu Melifonwu, he'll be cheap to bring back. If we bring him back, I could see him walking. Derek Barnes, he should be cheaper. Not too cheap because he did have a really good year last year and a really good start to this year, but he should be somewhat cheap because of his injury. Kevin Zeitler is another big one, but he'll be cheap because he's old. I don't think we'll bring him back, but he'll be cheap because he's old. And we signed him for pretty cheap, and that's it, right? Carlton Davis, Fatu Melifonwu, Kevin Zeitler, and Marcus Davenport. He'll be really cheap because of his injury. I do expect Brad Holmes to bring back Marcus Davenport because he loves bringing back injured players and he just has that connection. And he is a good player when he's healthy. The problem is he's literally made of glass. There's no more excuses that he's not. So everybody will be cheap besides Carlton Davis to bring back if we decide to. So that's crazy, man. That we extend David Montgomery and Alim McNeil within about 3 days, 4 days. That's pretty crazy, man. I don't expect any other extensions to get done this season. Maybe, they'll try to get everybody big name done this season. Carlton Davis might get an extension during the season. I don't know how much money we're going to have with this. It can't be a whole lot. We had around, I think, $28 million, something like that, after we extended Montgomery. So we'll probably only have around, my guess is around $15 million now with McNeil, which is probably still enough to do a trade and still have a little bit left over for, in-season moves and depth pieces. But I don't know. Leave your thoughts in the comments down below. Shout out to Alim McNeil and Brad Holmes. Well deserved. Some people are going to call it overpay. I don't think it is. I actually thought it was going to be more expensive if he waited till the end of the season. Probably would have been $15 million at least more total, and his guaranteed would have been went up as well, most likely. So I think this is a very, very good deal by Brad Holmes. Very smart to do it in season. You lock down one of the better defensive tackles in the league and rising defensive tackles in the league, and Alim McNeil for long term for another 4 years after this current deal. So shout out to Alim McNeil. One pride, go Lions. This is unbelievable. Now, Brad, all I ask, let's get Reddick. Let's get Hendrickson. Let's get somebody. I'll even take a Dietrich Wise at this point. One pride, go Lions.